All right, next up on the Saturday slate here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Down they go to We Are Marshall last Saturday in another huge upset. We just talked about how Georgia Southern is massive underdogs beat Nebraska. How about Marshall going into South Bend, touchdown Jesus, Notre Dame Stadium, and upending the Fighting Irish? Welcome to college football head coaching, Marcus Freeman. Lost the bowl game, lost the first 2 games this year, still waiting for his first win as a head coach. Will he get it here? Even though this team's, 10.5, actually they're down to 9.5 point home favorites now against Cal, 41 the total in this game. Will he get it here? That's a big question. There's all kinds of issues right now with Notre Dame. That offense didn't work, period, against Marshall. It was terrible. Tyler Buchner was not good at all. The offense bogged down, couldn't finish drives. I actually thought, again, the Notre Dame defense, they didn't play as well against Marshall as they did against Ohio State because Henry Colombi, I thought did a nice job. Texas Tech transfer, played well. He got the ground game going a little bit. The defense didn't play as well, but the defense did all they could to hang in there and keep the team in the game because the offense wasn't doing anything against Marshall, but it was just too much to overcome. And it ended up being the pick 6 to seal it for Marshall down the stretch late in the fourth quarter. And it was just a dreadful offensive performance. I can't even blame the defense because I thought the defense for Notre Dame didn't play that bad against Marshall, but the offense was non-existent. And that's the issue moving forward with them. It's a bad sign when you're wanting Jack Cohen back. Guys, a quarterback like that, you want him back on the team because things were so bad with Tyler Buchner there on Saturday against Marshall. But yeah, it was rough. No question about that. Like I said, I don't think the defense played terribly. But when the biggest issue for Notre Dame was they let that running back, Kalon LeBourne, get going for Marshall, 163 rushing yards. But Buchner was 18 to 32, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He got benched late in the game when it was out of reach. Drew Pine took over. He had 6 pass attempts, 20 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You got quarterback issues. And the issues right now are you don't have one. If you're Marcus, you don't have a good one right now, that's for sure. And now you got to choose Buchner or Pine. And frankly, I don't know if it's going to matter here in this one. So the money's come in on Cal. I get it. I cashed a ticket against Cal last week, Conor Mack. Best bet winner on PubHub, the Saturday show, UNLV, Go Fight Cover. They did against Cal last week, plus 13. They only lose by 6, 20 to 14. Here's the issue with Cal. I get it. People want to fade Notre Dame. Prisoner of the moment. Want to bet what you last saw. And what you last saw was Notre Dame losing against Marshall at home and looking terrible on offense in the first couple of games here. But here's the issue with Cal. Their offense has issues too. They didn't finish drive. They had a bunch of chances in the first half to just run UNLV right out of the stadium. And they settled for field goals. They turned it over and they let UNLV hang around. And then in the second half, credit to UNLV and the coaching staff, they made adjustments and the defense really didn't let Cal do anything offensively in the second half of that game. They are still a team that I have trouble trusting that offense with Plummer at quarterback. The offensive line isn't great, and Notre Dame can still play defense. And Notre Dame's got to be seething and ready to show something fierce here after the loss against Marshall. The question is, are they good enough? So I understand the sentiment, taking Cal plus the points, fading Notre Dame off a horrible game. They didn't look good. How can you want to lay points with Notre Dame? But I don't trust the Cal offense fully. And keep in mind, this is one of those early start times, Conor Mack, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, traveling to South Bend. I'm worried about this, start time here for the Golden Bears a little bit. So I'm probably not going to be on this betting market surge toward Cal in this game personally. The under might be the best bet in this game, and the total's already gone down to 41. I totally agree with that. What do you think here, Conor? Cal, Notre Dame?
Yeah, maybe let's touch on the total real quick, because until Notre Dame can start scoring and finishing drives and this offense look good, why would you want to take the over with them? I don't know. It's Buchner or Pine. They got to figure out which guy they want. And, Buchner moved the ball. They're just problems, though. They couldn't score. They just can't get it done and get in the red zone, score touchdowns. Everyone thought, wow, how great they played. And I thought they did defensively against Ohio State, but it just seems like we'll see with Ohio State too. They're early, and it's still so early, into the year with going here. Let's get to the other side with Cal. You mentioned it. I thought they moved it well. UNLV stayed in that game and played great and covered. Plummer was pretty good, but I thought Brumfield moved it pretty good, for UNLV. He had
Yep.
over 200 yards, and UNLV, I like how the program's moving finally in this one, but Cal just couldn't get it done in the end, and they couldn't cover. I'm interested, which is crazy to say. I never bet on Notre Dame, at home laying points. I'm a tad bit interested in them under 10, but I just don't know if I can get to the window here this week and actually bet it. This is more of a watch again for me. And yeah, you mentioned the early start time, the 11:30, the NBC time there, the 2:30 Eastern. So this is a watch and see. I want to see this offense in this week in this game. They got to start converting drives, and maybe it'll be finally to get it done because he needs a win desperately, his first win, Ian, there. Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, and now another home game too. I mean, you don't travel, you're
game,
at home again for a second straight week. So there's things to like about the situation here for Notre Dame. I do know one thing. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I know they're strong. Cal on the road. Cal is an underdog. Cal is a double-digit underdog, although they're not a double-digit dog now, but they
Slightly
were when it opened.
Yeah.
Long term, the numbers are very good ATS for Cal.
You're right. It's very good.